Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Let's be honest, mostly punk-ass dudes. Welcome to episode 5 of Kulpable. We have a special Christmas show today. Special because I'm wearing my new favorite sweater. It was a gift, I didn't buy it. Let's jump in. First, I want to rephrase, let's jump in, let's get started, shall we begin, to let's go. As men, I think it's super important we bring all of our energy, that we actually have boundless energy, which is its own challenge. And then when we have that energy, we bring it to the table whenever we commit to anything. So I want you to start saying to yourself, well, I encourage you to start saying to yourself, whether you're sitting down to build a new feature on an app or just to play video games, those are the two things that I do. Say, instead of, okay, let's get started, let's go. And I've been practicing it. It's getting my energy at a higher level. And I think higher energy equals better performance. Think about it. Next, in this episode and future episodes, I want to begin a new little theme. And I'm going to be sharing a list of things I've done that really pissed people off. We can call this segment Bad Things I'm Actually Proud of. Or for the grammar nerds, misdeeds of which I am proud. So, our first story. This is a good one. In 2012, I co-opened a Vietnamese restaurant in the East Atlanta village called We Suki Suki. You can look it up. It's still doing really well. And after a few months, we were only, open for lunch, like 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. And it was really small. You could pretty much come in, take out food. There was like one table to sit down. It was a takeaway Vietnamese banh mi and boba spot. If you're not cultured like I am, banh mi is a Vietnamese style sandwich. It's a baguette. It's some gross type of pork. It's a couple of gross vegetables, some sauce, chili, whatever. And boba is like a bubble tea. So a dessert sort of drink with milk and whatever really you want in there. Tapioca balls, whatever. So banh mi, boba, Vietnamese restaurant. We Suki Suki is what we called it. Let's go. And after a few months, we wanted to increase the revenue, right? But as a dinner spot, it wasn't really a fit. And again, it was takeaway. So I talked to my co-founder at the time, and she later became a total con artist, and I said that. And she said, yeah, let's do something interesting. So we opened up a late night version of We Suki Suki, and this was to attract the nearby bar goers. So on our street in the East Atlanta Village were several bars, a couple clubs, and after those people leave the bars at midnight, 1, 2 a.m. when they close, they might be hungry. They might have the munchies if they're anything like I am. And they were. So we had this late night thing where people could come get a sandwich at midnight. But I didn't want to leave it there. I didn't just want to simply open our doors at midnight. I wanted it to have a theme. I've always been interested in brands. I had worked for Red Bull. I had worked with Microsoft. I'd even worked for Teach for America, although they don't really have a cool brand. But anyway, I decided to call this event Good Morning Vietnam. And Good Morning Vietnam, we were open at night, and it was a whole thing. It wasn't just a name. We got like a boombox, and we played the soundtrack to Platoon and Full Metal Jacket, great movies. We swapped out the cash register for an ammunition crate, and we put the money in there. We wore fatigues, so the military outfit you can buy at the Army surplus store. And when people's sandwiches wanted to be chopped in half, we didn't use the regular bread knife. We bought a machete, and we chopped their sandwiches in half with machete. Of course, they need to be hydrated, these post-bar goers, these heathens. And so our beverage, our boba, we changed the ingredients a little bit. We took out the milk. We added Tang, which was like the orange drink mix, fake orange juice. and Red Bull, and we called that drink napalm. I'm very, very proud of this. It was good times. Got me hundreds and hundreds of death threats when this resurfaced a few years ago on the internet. Several articles written about me. And I think it's great. And I've never apologized. I never will apologize for a joke. The kicker here was actually that the co-founder was Vietnamese and she thought it was hilarious. So putting this all on the record, the last time I spoke to her, she claimed that the Atlanta police knows about me and they are coming for me. So she is wild, but if she watches this, she'll know I said that. So that's my first misdeed. If you thought that was interesting, I might continue bringing them on a weekly basis here because I have many. That is why I am who I am, is because I do things that most people don't have the guts to do, for better or worse. Maybe you don't have the guts because you're not a bad person, and we can debate that. But what I've found is that pushing the limits, taking risks, doing things that won't always get a lot of praise, except in the moment. 2012, people loved it, but not anymore. By doing those over and over again, by doing a collection of those, having those experiences, you pattern match and you synthesize better, newer ideas. And so I wouldn't be where I am today doing normal PG-rated stuff, fixing bugs, if I didn't push it 10 years ago and try things that weren't necessarily going to work. So there's something there to consider. Next up, let's go. In 2008, I did something really interesting. I went to the cell phone store, the Verizon store. I had been a subscriber to Verizon for 12 years, since 2006, when my parents bought me my first cell phone. And I was on this Verizon plan. I had the same phone number. It had an Atlanta area code. And I kept that number, right? We always want to keep our number when you move around so friends can keep in touch. And one day I decided, I don't like this. So I went to the Verizon store and I canceled my number and I got a data plan and I told no one. I didn't give anyone a warning. And for the next several months, I was getting angry emails and texts through other friends saying, why aren't you responding to my calls and my texts? I didn't even tell my parents. I didn't tell my best friends. And it was awesome. And I did this because a few months later, I became a digital nomad. So I knew I wasn't going to have a real number anyway. And I just wanted to cut the cord early. So around summer 2018, I cut my number and I haven't had a real number since. I lived in Korea the last couple years. I had a Korean number that Korean people could call. That's it. I canceled that, obviously. I'm back in America. I'm back on a data plan. I found the cheapest plan I could get, $29 a month for unlimited data, 5G. And it's been wonderful. But every week I get asked for my number and I give people a Google Voice number. So this is a secret. If you've asked for my number, you got a Google Voice number. It's sort of like an inbox. I check it once or twice a week. People can call and text it and everything, but it doesn't buzz on my phone. So I don't really answer calls. I ignore most texts. I treat them like spam. It's just not going to happen. And I'm saying all this because I want to put out there a probably blasphemous-ish idea that you do not have to be reachable by other people, especially not strangers, because I've found that that's mostly who called me, strangers. And I don't just mean spam. I mean someone got referred to me. They heard about me. Maybe that's just a me problem. Maybe my number's in too many places. But when you start doing entrepreneurial things, a lot of websites, your website, your customer service help center desk, your business license, all this documentation gets made public and a lot of it has a phone number on it. Your domain, your web domain through your registrar. So I was over it in a fit of not rage, but giddiness. Let's see what happens. I canceled my number 2018 and I got to tell you, I'm never going back. You're not going to get my phone number because I don't know what it is because I don't have one. Or if I have one, it's in my phone settings somewhere. I have no idea what my number is and it's wonderful. And yesterday this phone rang and I was working and listening to music, and it shook me, you know, in the words of a 2022 youth. I was triggered. What is going on? And I said, hello, this is Ryan. Like I'm some corporate guy working in the field. And they said, oh, hi. And I hung up. And that's the last phone call I've taken. So just think about it. Just think about it. You do not have to be reachable. This is not a thing. If someone wants to talk to me, they can find my email, which I also hide. It's not on my website. Good luck. They can find my email, and then I will think about replying if it's interesting. You have to impress me. I don't want to sound like a jerk, because what I'm saying is applicable to all of us. I should not have the ability to disrupt you. It doesn't even matter if I'm your friend. You could be doing something valuable. You might only have me as a friend so we can hang out together, not so I can bother you when you're working or doing something on your own. Think about it. I want to almost start a movement of people canceling their cell phone because everyone has this supercomputer that they think they need to keep in their pocket at all times so you can get bothered. And it's just one of the many, many modernist lies that most of you believe in, unfortunately. Lastly, this is going to be a little shorter today. I'm going carnivore again. I didn't start the Kulpable show so I could tell you what I eat, but here we are. I think there's something useful for all of us in this little ditty. I'm back to eating animal products again, so meat, cheese, milk. What I mean is I'm back to exclusively eating animal products again. I've been sort of just eating healthy for years, right? You know, eat some salads, don't eat sugar, don't ever drink things with calories, only have diet sodas, mostly avoid bread, carbs, rice, potatoes, all that stuff makes me fat. So I've been doing that for years. It's fine. I've gotten stronger. I go to the gym. I do all the things. I go running. I improve my running time per mile. I do everything right, but I'm not where I want to be. I'm not where I used to be when I was carnivore. When I was carnivore and I was eating $50, $70 of steak every day, which was not a good use of money, but I was a digital nomad, so my rent was like $500 a month. It didn't really matter if I spent more on steak. I didn't have a car. I didn't have real responsibilities. And when I was doing that, I was killing it. I had many visible abs. I don't want to say six pack, but like a 4.5 or 5 pack. Everything was going great. I was never bloated. My head was clear, and it was just annoying. It's just annoying. Every restaurant you go, you have to see if they have meat. And if everything they have has a bunch of sides, well, guess what? You don't get to eat the sides, and it's kind of like a waste of money on every meal. So I got over it, and I kind of scaled back. But now I'm going back into it again with this attitude I started the episode with. Let's go. Let's go. We got to challenge ourselves, guys. If you're a woman watching this, I don't think you need to challenge yourself. I think your challenge is just to find a great guy, and he's going to then challenge himself until you both die, and that's going to benefit you. But if you're a guy, you got to challenge yourself every day, and you have to earn it every single day, and you have to get better than you were yesterday, and you have to compete with who you were yesterday, and that's really difficult when things start to really click. And so for me, a lot of stuff's clicking, but the one area I realize in my life I can get really intense with, I can step it up, is just what kind of stuff I'm eating. So I don't share this to tell you to only eat meat, but more so as just an analog to, you know, what's an area where you could step it up, and encouragement for you to go for it. So as men, to summarize, we need to demonstrate we're in control of the situation. And I want to know that I'm in control of mine. So Merry Christmas, and see you next time.